Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through those fears, live an amazing life. It's totally possible, and I'm going to give you the tools to manifest anything. Why? I don't do that. You do. Why? We all are the quantum field, not accessing it. We actually are the quantum field. A thought is just part of one energy that is manifesting and bringing things into the supposed reality, material world. I want to talk about the dark night of the soul. What it is, why it happens, how to pull out of it. All right? What puts us into that place, that dark, dark place? And I have to think if I've ever been there. Yeah, I guess I have. You know, the beauty of it is like having a child, right? You forget the pain, and then you realize, you know what? It's such a short period in your life that will pass. So let's start with that. Everything is just a moment, and this too shall pass. Everything that goes on in your life is a direct message to you of what must be changed if you want to evolve. The thinking that's going on that's causing you, to be in that situation, the actions, the gifts that you are receiving that will help you evolve, that you're battling, that you think is bad. There's nothing bad that comes to you. It's all a total creation of you, by you, for you, in order for you to go to a different place. So when you go to that dark place, all of these things along the way took you there and you participated in. So somebody comes along and something happens. So let's give you an example. Breakups. That's when a lot of people go to the dark night of the soul. I can't live without that person. Their whole world collapses, right? So somebody else could take a breakup and say, well, I wish you well. Owie. You know, heart hurts a little bit, but there is another, and it didn't work out for a reason. They're not for you, all right? Either they didn't want you, or it just wasn't working. Maybe you didn't really want them. You know, whatever it is, it's not resonant. You're not on the same frequency. You must allow that to dissolve and find your way. There's no, oh, we have to stay with somebody for the rest of our lives. Who made that one up, right? The church or something like that, right? So I'm not here to tell you what to believe, but I'm here to tell you that you can create absolutely anything. There's no right and no wrong. So where does that put us with the relationship? Well, Mr. A breaks up and says, wow, this really hurt. I really loved that girl. How can I learn from this situation, and how can I view it to become somebody better? And maybe next time I will be a better partner. Or maybe you were a great partner, but this person just didn't appreciate you and it just didn't resonate. It doesn't make them wrong, all right? It doesn't make them wrong. Oh, well, I'm this great person. And no, it just wasn't a match. Sometimes that's just it. So take a look at it and say, what can I learn from this? Was this an amazing person, or did I just think they were amazing because of my own insecurities? And then, okay, maybe I need to work on that. And then Mr. B over here, that's Mr. A, Mr. B says, this is the love of my life. I'm devastated. I can't live without her. And he goes into a deep depression and, you know, maybe texts her 100 times a day or stalks her or some weird stuff like that. And sees it completely different. This is what takes us down. So Mr. B just went, pfft, and Mr. A went up. Even though he lost what he thought was the love of his life. There's no love of your life. There could be great matches, great people in your life that you love, but there's no love of your life. If that were true, then, you know, thank God they happen to live in the same town that you did, right? There's 7 billion people on this planet. Of course, there are multiple opportunities for you, many different experiences, many loves, many amazing things that you can't even imagine, right? So just get that out of your head too. There are endless opportunities. That includes loving other people and having amazing relationships. So this guy knows this. Mr. A says, I know that. And so that next time that relationship, I'm going to be a little bit more cognizant of how I speak to somebody, or working too long of hours or whatever. And so he decides that next time he's going to go into it, and maybe he says, you know what, there are a few things I didn't like about her. Maybe she wasn't so respectful, or, you know, she wasn't confident, or whatever it was. So then he goes to seek that other thing, and he knows in his head, he puts that in a quantum field, that that's what he desires, and he now is a different person. So he stepped into a different reality. He meets somebody eventually as he's working on himself. Boom. Wow, thank God I didn't marry that other person. It just wasn't right, and I didn't know that, because now I'm with somebody new, and it's amazing. Mr. B says, I'll never find anybody like that again. And, you know, she's thinking, oh, dear Lord, you know, get a life. So this is what determines whether we're going down into that black hole. Let's talk about your work. This is a big one. Okay, this is when I realized I just could not stay on the path that I was on. Work. How are you earning money? When you go in day after day and you don't love what you're doing, you feel like you have no purpose. The money becomes irrelevant, and especially if you're doing that and you're not making good money and not being appreciated, you go in and the atmosphere isn't good, you're not resonating with it. I worked with amazing, wonderful people, but I wasn't resonating with the financial industry. It basically is not always looking out after the individual people. It's not the kind of atmosphere that's about goodness to the world. It's about making money for those companies, which can be a wonderful thing, but it was not where I needed to be. And that's a terrible place to be at the moment, because you feel stuck. And when you feel stuck and you don't have purpose, or you don't know where you're supposed to be, and you don't have the money, and you don't feel like you have options, and you're not loving what you do, but you have to get up every day and do that. So you don't have to go out with that person you don't like. But when you need to pay your bills, you have to get up and go into that job, right? And we know this until we make other arrangements. And that can be a very deep, dark place of frustration and feeling like my life isn't worth anything, or maybe you're struggling with jobs or whatever. You have financial blocks. And so you create and self-sabotage all these issues. That is you taking yourself down. Everything you did, you chose to go into the dark night of soul. Because the universe continually, which is you, says, I know you want to be up here, so we're going to keep giving you all these things that you must work on to go up here where you're abundant and happy and awakened. So it keeps taking you down because you're not making higher choices. You're not making higher thoughts. So you go into that really dark place because, well, you know what happens there? You have no place else to go. Eckhart Tolle had no place else to go. Neil Donald Walsh, no place else to go. They went to that deep, dark place, and guess what? Boom, awakening came out of it. I know that for Eckhart Tolle. And there was nowhere to go except to choose to feel better. We want to feel better, and then all of a sudden, all these other things don't matter. I just want to feel better, right? Isn't that what you want? So what happens then? You have to make different choices. And so if you want to get out of that, you have to ask yourself, these are all things that I've created to take me to a place where I must take a serious look at all my choices, my thinking, my beliefs, how I've treated other people, if I've blamed, if I think the world is against me. It will be, because you created that. So when you guys make comments on my channel and you say certain things, I say, it's true for you. I'm not here to argue that point. If that's what you believe, you're creating it. Is that good for you? Ask yourself if that belief is taking you to a higher, more peaceful, amazing place. If you see others as a problem or worse or enemies or evil, is that really the world we want to live in? When you release it all, and that's what the dark night of soul will do for you, it's like you can't take it anymore. And the ego, you realize, has not been your friend. It's trying to protect you from things that you don't need to be protected from. Right? If you see my videos with Hacker T-Dog, I use a little puppet as the ego. It thinks it's protecting you because it comes from a dense world. And so it says, there's lack, people are hurting me, protect yourself, and then it keeps going down and down and down. And nobody wants to be around that. No one. No one wants to be around a lower, poor little me frequency, and that's where you are when you go there. Poor little me, it's all about you. You're in such a dense place. It's all about me and what I don't have, what I desire, what I've lost, How do I get out of this? The world is a horrible place. I've been abused as a child, and all of these stories come in there that are negative, that you believe are not gifts for you to become something pretty damn amazing. So that dark night of the soul, that's the ultimate gift. Is like, I have nowhere else to go. I might have to go do something radical to break out of being the person that I've been that got me there. And that might be just completely letting go and saying, you know what, my decisions haven't been that great. Let go and let God. I can remember when I felt very frustrated in my, I was actually in an awakened state, but I was not in alignment with what I was doing for a living. And feeling very much like, this is not how, I cannot live my life like this. After 25 years as an investment banker, with a really great Rolodex, you might not know what a Rolodex is. List of contacts, a great reputation. People trusted me. They knew that I would do my best for them. I was a hard worker. Yeah, I was a hard worker, all right. And it was just, I had no life at some point. Not one I loved. So I was working in a negative sense of the way, you know. People don't like the word work because it's usually something they don't love doing, or it takes them away from something. You know, when you have the spouse that's working long hours, maybe they do love what they're doing, but it takes them away from the family. That's not a good balance. There has to be something in there that creates that healthy life in every area of your life. And I always say this, when I went to Italy recently, I had an epiphany. I wasn't going on vacation. People say, oh, have fun, you know, oh yeah, that's like as if I was coming back to something and not having fun. I have fun and an amazing life every single day. People think I just sit here and shoot videos all day. I do this for a few minutes every couple days, and then I put them on a schedule and they post. I love to edit. I love to write. I get to do all the things that I love. I created the balance in my life of the things that I love, and everything I do contributes in a positive way to others. Now, you don't have to say, okay, I have to like help the needy or whatever. But if you're doing something that is positive, that is working for a company that is making eco-friendly products versus, you know, chemicals, homeopathic goods versus pharmaceuticals, you know, if you're making choices within your career that are higher, guess what? That frequency is going to expand you into amazing things, and you are contributing to the world. You're going to love and feel really good about what you're doing. And people are going to be happier there because they're choosing higher frequencies. People that are, you know, work in those companies, they're consciously really feel strongly about that which they're working for and doing because they want the world to be a better place. And so people are bucking the system. So here's what's happening. People, we are told to stay in this place, in this matrix, in this miserable way of working and living. And so until you step out of that, you will continue to take yourself down and down. This is why people are depressed. This is why you feel like you just don't give a crap anymore. This is why people, you know, are unhappy in relationships and they get things and they're still not happy. It doesn't bring them the joy. Maybe it does for a moment. Then all of a sudden it's like it's more burden than anything. The stuff or the relationship that you think I should be happy but I'm not. You know, or you come home to your family, you're thinking, I should be excited about playing with my kids, but I'm not. I'm just exhausted because I have to go back to work tomorrow and face this world again. You have to change that world. So the dark night of the soul is not just you going to a dark place. It's your life is not operating on the highest level that it should, and you have not made decisions to go to that place. You've made decisions to go down, which means you're looking at the outside world to make you happy. You're looking to others or material goods, jobs, relationships. There's something, or your family, that you believe that they should act a certain way, or somebody else should act or behave a certain way, or the world or the president should act a certain way. Absolutely not. And I've said this before. There's no disclosure in any area that we require. Do you think that disclosure is going to come over as pure truth? Of course not. It's going to be, painted whatever way they want it. You hold the truth. You know what it is. And that's all you need to know. You don't need other people to tell you what the truth is, or what's going on this planet, or in the pharmaceutical, the banking industries. You don't need anybody to tell you anything. We don't need to battle it. We have to create that world ourselves. And when you're doing that, you will have a purpose beyond your imagination. When I get comments from you guys that says that I've changed your lives, wow, that's pretty powerful. And I didn't. You took a tool that I was offered through the collective. I'm just getting pure information. I'm not channeling, of course I'm receiving information. I'm not channeling like an entity or anything. I'm getting the same information you have, but you have so many blocks between you and it, and ideas of how things are and what you should have, that you can't hear it. It's placing an order in the middle of a stadium of screaming people in a rock band. It's not going to be heard, right? Because you got all this other stuff going on. You have to go into the soundproof room and place that order and make it pure and simple and know that it is done. Without all the stories, without the poor me, how do I get out of this? I don't know. How are you going to get out of it? Start planning. Know it's done. Know that you have all of the help. There's so much help. The quantum field does anything that you desire it to do. It will do anything you desire it to do. It just creates. It's all it does, constantly. And we are connected to everything. We are entangled with everything. And with your focus, you're more entangled in the material world. It will start to come into the material world. If you switch over here and you say, no, it can't happen, then it goes, okay, it can't happen. You wonder why it's not showing up. I believed, I put a mantra out. No, you didn't really. You did for 5 minutes. And then you went over here and you contradicted yourself. So what took you to that dark night of the soul? Well, you sure weren't in touch with your soul, I'll tell you that. So when you feel frustrated and whatever, it's the material world that you're believing. And you're also believing that you're not controlling it. When you know you are, holy cow, you'll get busy real quick. Now, I hope you can join me on a monthly webinar. Go in the description and get some information. We actually spend about 3 hours every month going over this. Some of them, my subjects, you can see which one I'll have for the month. I talk about relationships. That one's coming up. How to get a healthy relationship, the love of your life, right? Which is not really the love of your life. You're going to come out of there feeling really powerful and confident that this is something that can happen for you. It can happen for anybody. Same thing with abundance. This month, but this happens to be September, I happen to be talking in October about, just shifting an entire reality shift. This month, September, we spoke about manifesting anything. Why? You just have to know how to access this and get out of your own way. The dark night of the soul is an amazing gift. Say, yay, I have nowhere to go but up now. All right, what have I been doing every step of the way to get myself down here? And I knew what it was for me. It was working in an industry that had nothing to do with placing others first. It had nothing to do with kindness to one another. It had to do with just making money. And I knew that if I shifted out of that, that money would flow in a way I never imagined. And that's exactly what happened. And at the same time, I get to help people for free. And sometimes I have to charge. Why? I have to pay a lot of money to keep these programs going. And people are okay with paying you when you're giving them value. I have no problem rewarding somebody who's giving me value. But do I want to give somebody money that's doing destructive things? No. No. So I want you to understand you have to get these ideas out of your head about how things work. That should be free, or this, that you can manifest anything. If you desire something, you can get it. If you need money to right? I don't use the N word on my channel, but if you desire a car and you don't have the money in the bank account, you just work on getting the money in the bank account and know that it'll show up. Or I've had people tell me that somebody called and said, I have a car, would you like it? You only have to pay the insurance. They want to get rid of it. This stuff happens. You don't have to dictate how it does, just know it. Start focusing on that and know that your world can turn around in an instant. in an instant because you choose it. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the actual quantum field here in the next video. Tell you some stuff that's going on out there. It'll blow your mind. So stay tuned. Now remember, you can sign up for Manifest Anything, 5 Steps to Manifest Anything. That's free. That's my workshop, my email workshop. You can sign up for my Breakthrough Fear course and other courses that are coming out. Go to landriaonkka.com and explore things. Use the tools. Watch the videos. Go to the teachers that are going to help you, because we're not in this alone. You never are alone. We're all here to help each other, right? We're a family. Sometimes family, they don't always get along, but they love each other. And in the end, they'll do anything for one another, right? And that's how I feel about you. You're whole and perfect, strong, powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Make the changes. Look at how you've been thinking, believing, your actions that got you to where you are, and ask yourself what life you're living that is not good for you and others. It must change. It is changing for hundreds of thousands and millions of people. We're all taking that step out of the matrix, and we're changing this planet. It's working. Thank you for that. Namaste.